Hello, Jeremy Chambers, Independence Acres Homestead. It's another beautiful spring morning here in southeastern Michigan, and we're going to take advantage of this weather as much as we can. A lot going on around the homestead. Stay tuned to show you what we have going on. Third weekend of April here in Michigan, and I tell you what, the weather is pretty nice again. We are expecting highs around 60 today. You know, as you can see in the background, the Bradford pear, the weed pear tree is blooming. So, you know, so far the year's turning out pretty good. I'm gonna take advantage of the weather today. I've got the smoker lit. We're gonna get a pork butt roasting, smoking on there. But we're also gonna start prepping a little bit more for our growing season. Now, we're gonna step in the greenhouse here. It's nice in here, actually. It's not too bad. Let's see what the temperature is right now. Pushing right about 80 degrees here in the greenhouse. Of course, that's at the top of the greenhouse, you know, down towards ground level. It's not quite as warm. But the plan today is to get some of our potting soil mixed up, and then we're gonna get some of our tomato plants up potted. So they've just been in the you know, the 74 cell starter trays. We need to get those put into some 2-inch pots so that those roots have a little bit further to grow. If you remember when we started the onions from seed, those are growing really well. I'm really happy with the progress of the onions here. We've got some nice bulbs forming, and I was gonna put these in the ground today, but unfortunately the weather is not looking great over the next 5 days. So we're gonna wait until next weekend to get those things in the ground. Yeah, today we're just gonna be focusing on getting things potted up, get that meat smoked. I tell you what, nothing like smoked meat. So the first thing on the list today is to get some of our potting soil made up. Now, I have been using a variety of things in my potting soil, but this year we wanted to be a little more scientific in the way that we create our potting soil, so that we're not just spinning our wheels, and making sure that we give the best base for our tomato plants, pepper plants, you know, all the plants to thrive. And we do use a commercial potting soil to start as one of our bases. We use the Just Naturals Organics, and this is made in, okay, so it's not a local thing to us, but it's created in Atlanta, Georgia. So yeah, I know. The main reason why we choose this is because, well, number one, it's labeled as organic, it's certified organic, so we're able to sell all of our plant starts as organic, even though our property is not organic certified. So this is, you know, a organic potting soil, has worm castings in it. You know, it's, let's see, I think they've got an NPK on it. NPK is kind of low, 0.06, 0.09, 0.06. And while it's a good base starter, there's a couple things that it's lacking in. And like I said, it's got a very low NPK content. So, and while it does have some peat moss in it, I don't find that it's enough to maintain the moisture levels for the extended periods of time, because we don't like to saturate, you know, because we're on a well, we like to maximize the water, you know, our water usage. So, you know, we don't want to put it in soil where it's going to evaporate out real fast. So we kind of mix this 8 parts soil of this potting soil. We do add some additional peat moss. We do use a Canadian peat moss. It's good stuff. We get the compressed bales, rather inexpensive for us, and it still is an organic certified product. And then, so 8 parts of the organic potting soil, 4 parts of the peat moss to 1 part of bunny honey or brown gold, right? So we harvest our rabbit manure from the bottom of our rabbit cages, and we use 1 part of this, and this is just to bump up those NPK. So rabbit manure can be used directly into your potting mixes, into your garden, into basically any place that you want to enrich your soil, because it is a cold manure. So it can be used directly from butt to garden, from butt to garden, from butt to garden. And it is, you know, it's just a quality fertilizer. If you look at its NPK numbers, it's like somewhere between 2.5, 1 to 1.5, and 2.3. I'll put those exact numbers here on the screen. And you know, that's going to vary based upon the diet that they're in. So we use the rabbit manure, well, because we have it, obviously. You know, that's one of the benefits of cuniculture, is having this you know, quality manure at our disposal at all times, and we have plenty of it. With the number of rabbits that we're raising right now, we have plenty of manure. So we actually use our poop slide here, and we collect it along trays. Hi guys. Oh, Lancelot, you see me coming. Hi. Hey, sweet pea. So anyway, come over here. I gotta say hi to him. What's going on, Louie? Hi, Eleanor. Yep. And there's Winter hiding in the corner. Now there is some hay and some feed in here. We'll pick out a lot of this as we go. You know, some straw and stuff. Honestly, the straw and hay isn't too much of a concern when it comes to harvesting the rabbit manure. The biggest thing that is the concern in here is the feed, and that's just because it's going to cause you know, some nitrogen depletion as it you know, decays in the soil. So we want to try to eliminate as much of the feed, or try to not get piles of feed from the rabbit manure here. Now we drill holes in these little collection in our collection gutter here, and the stuff that we don't use directly into the garden goes into the compost pile. So the holes that we drill in here are mostly just to allow the urine to drain out, because the urine is going to be detrimental to the garden, even worse than the little bit of feed that's in here. So you know, rabbits are messy eaters sometimes. All right, so like I said, we're gonna do 8 parts of our organic soil here. Parts soil, 4 parts peat moss, 34, and 1 part bunny honey or brown gold. Right? So the last thing that we add into our soil mixture here for potting up is some of our native soil. I use about 4 or 5 parts of this soil just to add in some native dirt. Give it all a good mix. And we've got a nice soil potting mix ready to up-pot all of our tomato starts. Do this about 4 or 5 more times until we've got a bucket full. We'll head down to the basement and get ready to pot stuff up. All right, bucket full of potting soil. Let's head on into the house. Look, we got a Luke in a cage.
Hey!
What are you doing in there, Luke?
Build something for the bunnies.
Something for the bunnies?
Nope.
Out
Like
here
the pipe too much.
Out here enjoying a little bit of fresh grass, sunshine. I bet mom's enjoying. I bet their mom's enjoying some peace and quiet for a little bit too, huh?
Probably.
Time to get busy up potting, and just to show you a quick update on the downstairs growing area. I mean, it's been things are growing really well. These two bottom trays of tomatoes are the ones that we're going to be potting up today. So the goal this year for starting all of our plants was to try to get as many reusable pots and trays as possible. So all of our started plants in here, they're all in a seed starting tray. And then last year we had used solo cups for most of our up potting. This year I'm trying to use reusable 2-inch pots. So these are a little smaller, obviously, than a solo cup, but I'm hoping that it's going to give us the same growth and give us that reusability. The solo cups just had a tendency to crack. They weren't necessarily as robust as something that's made specifically as a growing pot. These are the pots we're going to be using, and the other issue we had with the solo trays was the solo cups in the trays is that they just kept falling over. Every time I would move a tray around, it would fall over. So really wanted some square pots this year just to help keep these things from falling over as we're moving them around in the garden. Moving them around in the greenhouse or setting them outside to get hardened off before they go into the garden. So really hoping these are going to fit the bill this year. So the basement this year is my growing area, my wood shop, my metal shop. This winter it's been pretty nice to have a basement that's not finished because I can kind of do whatever I want down here and not worry about it screwing up the basement as it goes. So just gonna take my pots, fill them about halfway with some of that potting mix that we had created in the greenhouse and start filling up these growing trays. And there we go. We have 4 times 36, 144 trays. Our pots ready to go, and that's exactly what we got in 2 of the trays up there that we need to up pot. So now, one drawback to up potting is that I am going to lose some real estate, right? So I'm going to have to hang a couple more lights here so that I have a place to keep these things going until we get through this cruddy weather this next week before they can go out into the greenhouse. Now I could put them out in the greenhouse and put the heater out there, but I really don't want to do that. I'm trying to reduce my electrical costs by getting things out to the greenhouse, so might as well just set the lights up in here and be ready to go. So now it's time to start getting some of these tomato starts from there to here. All right. So these are the beautiful plants we're going to be potting up today. These ones here are Big Rainbow, and then I really try to focus on some smaller varieties. If you remember when I got these planted, I'm going to try to get some smaller varieties, such as the Geranium Kiss and the Tiny Tim. Ones that are going to be good for, patio potters or, small container gardening. So even though these haven't gotten too tall like the rest of the larger varieties like the Big Rainbows or the Sunrays, they have began to put roots out underneath the tray. Let me show you real quick. All right. So this is the difference. So these are the Sunrays, and you can see they're a larger variety of tomato, and they've already grown pretty tall. These are Geranium Kiss, this smaller variety here. And even though they haven't come out of the soil quite as much, their root system is starting to peek out through the bottom of these starter trays. That's why we've got to get these in some soil. So when we put these in, we're going to depress the soil here a little bit and work these in. And we're going to put these into in the dirt here to where we'll be filling up to the bottom of the first leaves. Now the reason being is that all of that extra surface area of the stem of the tomato plant there, it's going to make extra roots in order to get nutrients to these plants. the final step here on all these is hold it in the center of the pot here. And we're going to take some of our potting mix and fill up the rest of these pots. Remember, fill that soil up to the bottom of the first leaves, and all of that will grow into the root system. All right, only 143 more to go. All right, got everything potted up. A total of 144 plants up potted. Most of those being tomatoes. Some of them were cabbage, that market cabbage. So we are ready for to let these things go for a few more weeks here. Had to add these extra bank of lights down here so that we could make sure that we're getting the appropriate amount of light. And just for anybody who's looking to mimic this, just so you know, all of these lights are on a timer. So we've got them getting about 12 hours of light during the day. And for the first 2 weeks, when they're just have their first set of leaves, until they get their first set of actual leaves, we're just using water. But after that, we've got a diluted hydroponic solution that we're using on these that is giving us just a little bit of fertilization in order to get their color and growth going. All right, I've got to head out and check on the smoker, see how the meats are going. Really appreciate you guys joining us today on this up-potting journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any further updates. And until next time, God bless.